Streaming. YouTube. Okay. Ja, dat werkt allemaal. Okay, can somebody check if they can see the live stream? Oh yeah, you're checking, eh? So go to YouTube, search for my name, and then should be in business. Thank you. Great. I don't need the echo, but it's great to see that the system is up. Can you help me remember to put the recording on? Because I will probably forget. The moment I start lecture, I probably forget to press start recording. So please, please be my official for the recording. And every time say, hey, you forgot the recording. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this, yeah. And OBS is the one for the recording. Great. I'm happy. And then we have this going. Yeah, that's also good. Okito. And this, we go here. So here we are. Yeah, that's great. We go here, or we can go big. Yes?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It's about multi-body dynamics A.
Oh yeah, the grades.
Yeah, when will they be published?
When I have time to correct them, because I've been in bed with a horrible flu, a real serious case. It's not that I almost died, but it was horrible. And so I'm running a little bit behind schedule. The pile is on my desk. I just have to correct them. If you enjoyed the course and did the assignments, you are passed. I mean, there's no doubt about that, right? But it will take a little bit of time. Sorry for that. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Ik heb nu checken of ik nog in beeld ben. Dus ik ga hier gaan zitten. Ja, dat is goed. Okay.
Stiamo collezionando. Molto di penso che sono per vaccinarsi. How are you? What is different?
Oh ja. Ja. Ja, dat ik doen. Het ook bij hem.
Is that your lunch? Just that?
Ja.
Usually
Ja. Ja, dat heb ik ook een beetje. Gewoon, omdat. Als je ook gewoon naast me werkt, kan ja, dat is een beetje moeilijk en ik had eigenlijk voor mij was deze periode rustig. Maar ik had een paar vragen uitgeteld en ik had wel gewoon 25 minuten. Ja. Ja, ik zou eigenlijk dat bij mij gewoon een zijn en dat zwart zijn tegelijkertijd. Dat is gewoon niet zoveel tijd. Dat lukt niet. Ja, we nu beleefd worden. Dus nou, dat lukt misschien wel, maar dan haal je wel op een manier van. Nee. Ja, we houden een 8 chill, maar het echt wel wat even op je van. Een 6 houden we bij. Maar ja. Ja, ik weet wel. Ik heb dus wel een beetje een gaar vak gekomen, omdat het gewoon was. Ik hoop dat het nog een beetje veranderen. Dat weet ik wel. Nee, maar wat dan pakken. En dit is een breed. Gewoon, je hebt elke keer het is moment duidelijk dat het gewoon wisselrij meer een over opdracht en de heel belangrijk. Nou, gewoon een enkel deel. Ja, die had iets. Ja, oké. No way. Zeg maar het speelt vandaag, jongen. Ja, een beetje. Maar dat is sowieso een beetje eigen. Maar ook altijd leven van mij. Je moet het leven zo vaak hebben ja. Oh ja.
Je moet je grenzen leggen. Eén keer
Ja, zeigst du.
Oké dan. Hoppatee. Dus, vandaag gaan we het hebben over Multibody.
Welcome to the course on multibody dynamics. My name is Arend Swaap. I run the bike lab here. I think there's only one person happy in the room, and that's me. Because it's a very high turnout, and that's exactly what I asked on the website in the announcement. Why are we here? Well, we are in this room L because I had some doubt in lecturing in the cinema of Pathé in the center of Delft. And I think most of you share that doubt with me. I think that's not a good solution for this educational institute. Therefore, I solved the problem to have a live stream running. So you can follow the course wherever you are. You can stay at home, follow the course. You can be on the Åland Islands in the Baltic Sea and still follow the course in time. And during that live stream, in this course there are also in-class quizzes. And the latency or the delay is about 10 seconds. And you have enough time to answer. So you can even do the in-class quiz in the live stream on Åland Islands in the Baltic Sea. So that solves sort of the problem. Some people are still unhappy, I understand. Some people say, I want to physically be in the room. That's also possible because this room holds 62 seats. And my experience is with this course that on average, I have in the real lecture room 60 attending. So that should cover on average. Maybe this year you are not so on average. There are more people who want to be here or less. We will see. So this solves the problem of not having to stand and being overcrowded. And I think even the fire department is not happy with this. It's even not allowed, I guess. So it's totally against the law. Please don't sue me. So to make you all happy, I think the best solution is to take 5. And those people who want to follow the course in the live stream, just go to YouTube, type my name. I can type that, it's easy for me to remember, but maybe for you it's difficult. Or type the course code and you find the live stream, and it should work. So that is for those people who want to sit down and follow the course in a 10-second delay. It's almost nothing. Find a place somewhere in the faculty and you can easily sit down. I propose we do not do any questions now. I just do a 5-minute break so people can regroup to other locations, and then we continue with the introduction to the course. Yep, take 5.
So I'm a TA for this course.
Yes?
Are we supposed to be here in the...
It's a live stream, you can sit anywhere.
No, I mean...
Oh, the TAs, sorry, I was, I'm a bit... No, you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed
It's okay.
Okay. As in, I thought, okay,
Yeah,
I wasn't sure,
it's
so I
okay.
came for the first
It's
lecture.
cool, but please go do something else.
Cool, thank you.
Ja, doe dat niet.
Er is opgeslagen voor later.
Het wordt ook opgeslagen, dat ga ik zo vertellen. Maar dat is, ja, dat, als ik dat nu ook ga vertellen, dan gaat iedereen naar de McDonald's toe of zo. Dus daar zit een toch wel een getrapt idee aan.
Oké, ik ga even lekker zitten.
Wil je het ook terugkijken of alleen livestream?
Ja, dat ga ik nu nog niet zeggen eigenlijk.
Nee, oké.
Maar het is de bedoeling dat het recorded wordt. Maar ik zou eerst nog even van de livestream
Ja.
dan heb je door hoe het werkt en of het werkt. En dan
Ja,
daarmee.
Oké, is goed.
Ja. No, you should have told me start recording. You did, because you didn't tell me. At the start of the lecture, you should yell to me,
but
did you press record?
But you have friends.
No? No? This is not record. This is the live stream. Besides the live stream, I can also record.
Actually, there are 2 buttons.
There are 2 buttons.
So you can press it out.
Now it'd be more direct to say press start.
Okay, so every time.
Yeah. Okay. Oké, OBS rond. De recording, stop recording. Ja, gaat goed.
I think it's like
Okay, yeah, I think the 5 minutes rescheduling, relocating everybody is now done, and let's start a lecture. On a normal lecture, so this is the introduction to the course. There will be no contents. I only talk about the form of the course. What can you expect, and can you expect from me? What do I expect from you? The lecture notes will be done in this way. Here, the lecture notes will appear. Yeah, and of course. These are saved, and I will also put them then after the lecture on the website, so they are available. So please don't put too much effort in copying what I'm writing. I mean, you're probably a good copyist, I believe that, but just write down what you think is important. The stuff will be there. And more will be there because this live stream is also recorded. And is then hosted on YouTube, meaning that the lectures you can watch the lectures also at another time. If you do that, then the only thing you miss out on is the in-class quizzes, and I will get back to that in a second. Okay, so for now I have no real lecture notes. It was just to demonstrate, so this can go down, other way down. So let's go to the home page of the course, because that is the umbrella on which I'm going to talk today. Well, most of you have read the announcement about the lecture room being too small, etc. We've passed that. So let's look at contents. So what is the content of the course? I noticed that today Brightspace is a bit slow, for some reason probably. Course information is the first point you will enter, I guess. And in the course information, one of the most important parts is, of course, who is the staff and who is supporting. Now, in this course, we have only one lecturer, that's me, and we have in total 5 TAs. Now, why do we have so many teaching assistants? Because there is weekly homework assignments in this course. And the weekly homework assignments you can just submit electronically in Brightspace, and it will be graded and marked up. Corrected, not really corrected, let's say marked up and graded, and then you can download that again from Brightspace. And then on top of that there are office hours. I think they will be on Monday. That's not completely set yet, but given that the homework is to be submitted just before the start of the lecture, and then really the gate closes. I mean, I can do nothing about that. It's all with electronics, with numbers and so on. So I have the experience that you usually need help the day before you have to submit. Yeah, well, it's logic. I mean, you first start on your own, and if it doesn't work, you ask your colleague, and if that doesn't work, maybe you copy. That is okay, as long as you mention that you've copied it. And if you really want to do it by yourself, you go to the office hours and ask assistance. So therefore, it will probably be Monday, but it's not written out in stone. There's one head TA, that's Simon van der Helm, and he's for all the organizational stuff and so on for the TAs. At the end of the course, or even at the beginning, let me rephrase. you should be friends with these people. And why? Because they grade your homework. It's very simple. I mean, you needn't be friends with me, but I do no real grading. They do the grading. Yeah. Okay. Where are we? Of course, staff and support. Oh yeah, the course contents. That's also, of course, what it's all about. Yeah. Multibody Dynamics B, I say it's a how-to course because in the end you really have the skills to set up the equations of motion for a complex multibody system in 3D and integrate those equations of motion to show what the motion is as in time. And what type of systems do I think of? Well, human walking in 3D, at the end you can model that. It's complex, but you can. You learn the skills in this course. Yeah. Course topics, homework. The piece on the homework in this content sheet is also in a separate part, so let's go there. Yeah, and of course information from the study guide. I don't know. I never looked at it. Homework. Now, why is there homework? That's, I think, because a long time ago I had a sabbatical year in the US at Cornell University, and there I taught a master course, and they said you have to give them homework every week, and I was totally surprised because the Delft modus was always, well, you go 7 weeks to lectures and then you get an exam. That's it. And how do you study for the exam? Well, 4 days before the exam you study the old exams and then you pass. I mean, there was about the system here. And in the US it was a totally different system. So people said, oh, that's like middle school, every week homework, and they correct it. Well, not almost corrected. Yeah, you could think it's like middle school. On the other hand, this course runs now for a long time, and I have very good experience with this homework, in the sense that I know that those students who did the homework in the end really say, well, I learned some skills in this course by just doing it. And the homework really forced me to do it. I mean, if I have to put in my tax claim, whatever thing, then I'm always almost late. And the same with you with homework. I mean, we're all human. So therefore we have weekly homework assignments with deadlines. Because if there's no deadline, well, you can also do it next week, right? Why bother now? No, therefore are the deadlines. Just keep in pace also with the material. On top of that, there are rules and guidelines. Well, most of them are clear. The first is put your name on your work clearly and say what is your student ID and which homework set is it. But the second one is the one where everybody usually stumbles. And that's about academic integrity, acknowledging the usage of others' work. So, and maybe I read it out aloud because that sort of helps. At the top, you always should clearly state that if you used help from others, because you are in a learning phase, meaning you don't have the skills and you want to get them. And how do you get them? Well, by looking at others or listening to others or copying from others. So that you still don't know all the stuff, that's clear. And that you therefore ask others and copy stuff, that's also clear. But if you do that, mention it. Say, for example, Mary Jones pointed out to me that I needed to draw a second free body diagram in this problem. If somebody told you that, you should just write it down, that it's not your idea. Or Nadia Chow showed me to do problem 3 from the start to the finish. There's no shame in that. If you ask somebody, can you help me, and how does that work? Or, basically, this solution was copied from the posted solutions. I also have no problem with that, as long as you mention it. The moment you copy something and do not mention it, then you are violating the academic integrity. And please read about those rules, because they're pretty strict. I mean, they call you for the exam committee and you're fried. That's serious business. Yeah? So just mention that you used work from others. There's no shame in that. Sometimes you have no time. But you still want to finish your homework. Well, that's a way to finish it. of course, if you hand in a homework assignment where you say, I copied everything from Pietje, yeah, then probably I'm going to call you and say, hey, what is going on? Because I believe this is not really helpful. So then we have a conversation. Yeah. In doubt, always ask me or the TAs. Please do. Because this is one of the biggest problems in the whole course. People have problem with the usage of works of art. Now, and the other ones are like printed stuff. You put your name on it, lay it out. Oh yeah. If you write down a homework assignment, a solution, don't say A is 4. I mean, make a sentence out of this. The solution to this problem results in an acceleration of 4 meters per second squared. I mean, then somebody who is not really familiar with the problem can understand what it's about. That's the whole point. And the last rule is be concise. Don't burden TAs with what I always say, wallpaper. Or Blaise Pascal once said these famous words to a friend: this letter is rather long because I didn't have time to make it shorter. And there's a lot of truth in that, because it's easy to just babble and babble and babble on. Try to be concise. Okay. In doubt, just ask. Where were we? Oh, we were in the homework, sorry. Then the other thing is, of course, important. How will your homework be graded? Well, there's some text, just read it, and there's also a grading scheme, like problem statement, if you repeat the statement, that's important. Method explained, code, MATLAB. It need not be MATLAB. If you like Python or C or Fortran or Basic or what else? It's all good. Code. Results and so on. Working together and complaints, so just read it. That was the homework. Any questions on the homework? All super clear? Yeah? Okay. Where are we? Lectures. Oh yeah. Live stream I talked in the beginning, so everybody is now aware. There is a live stream. There's a recording. The lectures we have. Yeah. If you want to see what was the if you were not present, or you want to see what was the material or anything else, there is this logbook on which week, which date it was, what was the contents in shorthand, what did I do. Then there will be like a PDF from the iPad lecture notes, and maybe files. If I show the MATLAB thing and I think, oh, that's nice to share, I put it there. So I put everything in that week, the lecture week part. The homework assignments should be under assignments. For the moment now there is nothing, because I will prepare it this weekend so that it's available next week. Yeah, so that was it. So in the lectures you can find everything which was on the lectures. Homework is clear. Homework downloaded from here and submit to there. And oh yeah, the graded work is usually a week after submission you can download it. Usually a bit earlier, because in that week the TAs are grading. And I think the Brightspace system is such that the TAs usually release it when they have graded it. Some teachers say, well, we wait until everybody is ready and then we release it. I think they release it on a one-to-one basis. That's my guess, but we have to discuss. Okay, questions on this for now should be sort of clear, I guess. And if there are other questions just in between, just raise your hand and hopefully I'll notice or yell. Okay, then an interesting part of this lecture is also the exam, of course. I haven't talked about the exam. There is a digital exam, so that's on the computer. The digital exam is usually a number of assignments which are in parallel with the homework assignments. You can use MATLAB during the digital exam. And you can bring in your code. It's an open book. You can bring in your books and everything. So all your homework code and all the stuff. and then you can calculate there on the fly, and then you have to answer a number. What is the acceleration, or what are the forces, or whatever. For that digital exam, you get a grade. Then the final grade for the course is 70%, so 7.0 on the average homework, the average of the homework, and 30% on the digital exam. Meaning you can do a resit exam, and your homework then stays the grade which it is. But if your digital exam grade is higher than your average homework, then you get your digital exam grade. So it's just if you're good at your exam, well, then you're good. But I bet you, if you're bad in your homework, you will not pass the exam, because the problems are really in the same line. Then we have a third carrot. I always like carrots and not sticks. So I don't like to punish you, but I like to give you a carrot and say, hey, have a carrot, please. Do your homework. Or please, study the course. And the third carrot is the in-class quiz. Now, I think you can get a bonus of 10% on your homework average with the in-class quiz. And the in-class quiz, what is that? Well, it's this. So there's a lot of text, so don't read everything. The in-class quiz is at the start of the lecture. We take 10 to 15 minutes to do just a quiz. And you can all participate with your smartphone or laptop. That's very easy. There is a system on the TU Delft for that, but it doesn't work with the MacBook, and there were all kind of troubles. And so we use the Kahoot system. I learned that from one of my kids in middle school. That we always do Kahoot, and okay, let's do that. It sort of works. It's suboptimal, but suboptimal is always better than nothing. And the grading for the in-class quiz is rather cute. I mean, if you have the correct answer, you get 10 out of 10, and if you just answer, you get 6 out of 10. So if you randomly just press the button every time when there's a question, you still have 6 out of 10. Yeah? Now, why is that? It's the incentive, because I think participating is more important than winning. In-class quiz is not the Olympic Games. It's not the 1,000-meter speed skating. Yeah? It is, would be nice, but did it start already, the speed skating? No, it starts at 3, I think, something like that. No, at what time?
An hour ago.
An hour, oh, okay. Yeah, but the last runs are, well, but they are short runs, so yeah, okay. Back to the course, sorry. Kahoot. Participating is important, so if you participate, 6 out of 10, and for those people in the live stream, you can also just participate. Just log into the system, and but be aware there is a latency in me being here and you now watching there of about 10 seconds. So if you see the clock running and it's going towards 10 and you're in the live stream, make a choice, otherwise it's lost. And I incremented the amount of time you get a little bit for the questions because of this latency. Now, how do you participate? In Kahoot, you get a PIN number. We will see that in a second, because then I will start this quiz. A PIN number. So you have to type in the correct PIN number. Well, that's not so difficult. You see the number here. But then the next step, that is the most difficult part of the whole in-class quiz. Because you have to put in a nickname, and in part of the nickname should be your student ID. Now, if you are unable to type your student ID, you do not get any bonus points. Now, that's a very negative sentence, so I will rephrase that. If you are able to put in your student ID together with some other characters, as long as it's no comma, so you can say Ari boy 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. As long as that number is somewhere in that nickname, then you do get the bonus points. Because I have to find a way who is who. I get at the end of Kahoot, I get a spreadsheet with nicknames. And if you say I'm Johannes 3, then I think, yeah, who the heck is Johannes 3? But if there If there are 7 numbers, 7 digits, then I think, oh, that's his student ID. And now I can match that with my grade center stuff. Okay, let's do the in-class quiz.
Can I ask something?
Sure, yeah, please.
Exam is at the end of this quarter, but
No, that's a midterm exam which is not there. There's maybe a midterm scheduled, but the exam is at the end of quarter 4.
because on timetable
Yeah.
appears that on
Yeah.
Thursday there is an exam that is
True, yeah, but there's no midterm exam, only a final exam. I will talk to the people and they will cancel it. Yeah. But you can put your name together with a number. That's no problem. So you can say Ari 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, as long as your student number is there. Now the room holds 62. I think there was a surplus of about 40. So we should be above the 100. So note that this room holds only 66 people, eh? A little bit more.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Since it is the first time, I will wait a little bit longer for everybody to log on. When the number of players is stable for about 10 seconds, I think we are ready to start. Okay, we're going to start the. We have 90 seconds, so 9-0, so that should be enough time. And more than one answer can be correct, huh? You can only select one answer, but more answers can be correct. And you should talk to each other. That's important. Can I have some quiet in the room? Okay, if we look at the answers, apparently there were two correct answers. So action is reaction, and the other one forces mass times acceleration. What about the other two answers? Well, the first one, 13 out of 156, something like that, voted for that one. Impulse is mass times velocity. Yeah, it's right. It's not something that Newton stated in his laws, but that has to do with mechanics, but it's not a Newtonian law. And torque is mass moment of inertia times angular acceleration. One voted for that. In itself, it's correct, but it's what we call the Euler law for a rigid body, and it's not the Newton law. So, perfect. I mean, next question, right? Be ready. CE is the top score. The top score is a bit bogus, these numbers. They have to do, it should be correct and quick or something like that. Don't pay any attention to that. It's sometimes fun to see the names like Teen Mum or something like that appearing suddenly. Although that probably is not in the high score. Yeah, next one. To turn right on your moving bicycle, what do you have to do? Well, as you see in the picture, of course you should make a signal. So if you want to go right, you do either your hand like this, or you do your hand like that. But you have to do more. I don't hear it. You cannot go back. No, no. The moment you choose, it's done. Sorry. And you have enough time, so just wait and then think. Okay. Okay, so the majority is right. So democracy again has victory, but mechanics is not about democracy, right? But it's good to see that 72 are correct. Now, you could also read it otherwise and say that 86 are wrong. Yeah? That's always what we always say in an election. Oh, by NIP they won the election. And you say, well, if you won the election with 60%, then you have created 40% opponents. You should be aware of that. And the same here. There are a lot of people wrong. Now, in short, I can do the wrong answers. The quiz should be short, no long explanations. So to the right, well, of course you have to steer to the right, otherwise you're not making a right turn, right? That is the idea. But how do you initiate that turn? Well, the problem is that a bike is very unstable, and to go through a corner you have to lean. And how can you lean the bike? Well, if you steer to the left, your contacts go to the left and your bike will fall to the right. And you are exactly in the configuration to go about the corner. And we call that counter steering, or the Delft control system called it a non-minimal phase system. That sounds very good. Oh, it's a non-minimal phase system, meaning that you have to do first an opposite thing. First steer left and then you go right. Non-minimal phase. Now, the upper body lean should also be a thing, but the problem is a bike is two parts, and if you lean your upper body like this, the bike will go like that. And it's not very effective. I mean, try it at home, please, and you will see it doesn't really work. So getting the bike to lean, best use the steering assembly, and always think, oh, I'm working on a non-minimal phase system. That's clear. Yeah. Next one, last question. A necessary condition for self-stability. And here you see self-stability. Isn't it a miracle? It recovers from a perturbation. More answers can be correct. And please discuss, talk with your neighbor, discuss about it, or look on the internet.
Is it possible to alter your
No, it's like shooting. Bang! Oh. I think the trick is in the word necessary. A lot of people, of course, yelled at me, oh, gyroscopic, of course, this turning wheel and so on. And yes, the gyroscopic effect of the wheel can help to make the bike stable. And why is it stable? Well, when it falls to the left, it will steer to the left, and then it will get up again. Or when it falls to the right, it steers to the right. So the trick is, so if the thing is falling, it should start steering. And the gyroscopic effect of the front wheel helps in that. That is true. But it's not necessary. You can make a bike without the gyroscopic effect of the front wheel, with counter-rotating wheels or a bike on skates, and that's still self-stable. So the other one, a tilted steering axis. Well, you would think that the forces, the contact forces working on the front assembly, due to the tilt, make it such that it steers into the fall. Yeah, that can help, but it's not necessary again. You can make a bike with a straight steering axis or even pointing backwards, which is still self-stable. A positive trail of the front wheel. Well, the trail is how far is the contact point behind the steering axis. So you would expect, oh yeah, if the contact point is behind the steering axis, it will always turn the wheel in the right direction again. And that is true, but it's not necessary for stability. I can even make a bike without all these three ingredients, and that is self-stable. And we have that bike in the lab, the 2-mile skate bike, and we were even able to publish that in Science. So, why is a bike self-stable? Because of a whole bunch of reasons: mass distribution, gyroscopic, geometry, and you can kill some others, but still make the thing self-stable. That finishes, I think, the quiz. Yeah, there's a winner. Oh, no name. Well, 4283449. Congratulations. Is he or she in the room? Yeah. Very good. Yeah, and then I have to save the results. And that is direct download. I'm going to save it to my drive. Save. Yeah, save. So I'm dead sure we have all the stuff. Okay, so that finished the in-class quiz. So now everybody knows how this works. I can kill this one, I can kill this one. I can go back to here. And if we look at our list here, then we're at the bottom. So this is actually the end of the lecture. Unless there are very important questions by whom you think that the audience will enjoy the answer.
You said that for steering cycle you have to lean, you have to steer to the left.
Yeah.
But when you are cycling without our hands on the steering.
Yeah, I'll repeat the question. So the question in the audience is about the bike. Cool. So without hands you can still steer is the question. So how do you do that? Well, yeah, by leaning the bike, but it's an indirect way of steering because with your buttocks you lean the bike, and then because the bike leans, it starts steering, and then it steers in the correct direction. So it's an indirect way of steering. Yeah. More questions? Okay, see you in a week.